shall we play a game?
We got Star Wars Unlimited. We got classic Star Wars games. We got old school D&D, independent RPGs, mini painting, Warhammer, of course, tons of other games. But first, we're gonna need some coffee here on Board Barista Productions. See it. Wait, say that again.
I had to go get this.
Well, I'm late because I had to go get this. So, but yeah, so we got our proper snacks and beverages. So it's time to start Retro Reviews, a review show where I go through my copious amounts of D&D and other paraphernalia one at a time. And to keep me rambling in a good way, we have Tanya.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so tonight we're doing Dragon Magazine number 336. This was the last Dragon Magazine I bought. Yeah. So tonight is the official end of covering Dragon Magazines. We're doing Star Wars next week. Finally. The solo play game that I ran to teach Tanya how to play the game before we started our Star Wars campaign. We've got that all pre-recorded. I was looking at the calendar. I'm like, we're going to be reviewing Star Wars content at the time. May the 4th. We're going to have a little bonus episode here on the channel. I'm going to put that video up. So that's the housekeeping part of the show done. It's time to dive in. What was in this magazine? So we're starting off with article number 1, Not for the Living. It's 6 haunted templates, but not templates for characters or NPCs or monsters. These are for places. And other types of different types of hauntings and manifestations. So you got a bad place, a location where torment and cruelty is so common that there are dozens of spirits, so people can't really move on because of all the evil that happened in a spot. You got the dreamscape, the haunting that manifests in dreams, such as a special place called Elm Street. We got the Eledin, which the haunting that manifests through words, music, and the arts. So it's basically like Vigo. It is Vigo. It's the haunted painting. We got the entity, which is the haunting powered by a ruthless spirit. Basically, all of the episodes of Supernatural where they had a ghost. We have the planar canker, the haunting that arises because of a rift between the Eldritch realms. So you got a lot of your H.P. Lovecraft style hauntings where it's some eldritch thing from beyond manifesting in our world. And then we have the primal scar, place where ancient life still holds sway. Did you ever see Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix?
No. Nope.
Okay. They have one episode which is a perfect example of this primal scar. You got these two guys driving through the Death Valley, the desert out here in the middle of America. And it's at night, and they start seeing all the ghosts of all like the prehistoric creatures and whales and fish like swimming along with the car. So that's a kind of cool thing.
I want to say I must have seen something because the robot looks familiar. The little orange.
If you have, it's a collection of it's like 8 to 10, like somewhere between like 2 to like 15-minute video, like sketch types things. My favorite one is the little tiny miniature scaled zombie apocalypse. That thing is hilarious. Another one is where there's an entire civilization living in this couple's freezer. That was also a very good episode. Yeah, and those were both in season 1. The other seasons are good as well. Just those are the ones I kind of like want to go back to and watch. Oh, the yogurt, where the sentient yogurt takes over the world. Yeah, it's Twilight Zone style like animation stuff. It's It's crazy, but yeah, there's so you got like 6 different ideas for some good little like ways to do haunting and stuff. Well, there's a ghost here. It's like, well, what's the ghost doing? How is it like doing its haunting? The next article is the birth of the dead. It's basically how the undead are created. It covers all the classics. You got your ghast, you got your ghost, you got your ghoul, you got your lich, you got your mummy, you got your shadows, specters, vampires, wraiths, wraths. But the one I really liked that they covered in here was the D&D specific, the Death Knight. When a paladin commits evil and is unable to atone for it, the gods will curse them with unlife.
Yeah. Just had a paladin. The last D&D DM I did was to save a paladin. The sword needed to go back to her to save her soul. So,
yeah.
Lord an undead paladin.
From the Dragonlance campaign setting, there was Lord Sloth. He was a Death Knight who ended up churning sides and fought for Takesis, the evil dragon queen, also known as Tiamat, and every other plane of existence. Basically, and he ended up getting his own plane in Ravenloft that he controlled.
What the?
Yeah. We got the next article is the ecology of the spawn of Cuss. So a spawn of Cuss is a very interesting skeletal undead where if you are killed and a worm of Cuss, which Cuss is like the evil god of the dead, if that worm gets into your body, the worm will like reanimate your corpse. And they have like the worm coming out of the belly in the artwork. It's like, ugh.
Sort of like Spaceballs.
Sort of like Spaceballs. Basically, it's like the undead version of Alien.
Yep.
Next article is Worm Food, Surviving the Age of Worms. It's a Venture Path. Night on the Town, Entertainment in the Free City. So they were doing a tie-in with Dungeon Magazine for this Age of Worms campaign setting. Well, not campaign setting, but adventure thing where they have like a couple issues and they'll be tied together. So they just wanted to talk about basically entertainment spots such as a theater, fighting pit, a fighting pit centered bar, a gambling house. There's even a little dice game rule in here, and also the bathhouse because out adventuring on the road, you want to get a good shower every once in a while. Next article is the Curios of Corruption. So we got some evil magical items, such as the blasphemous figures of the void. They're eldritch jade figurines with powers of dark gods. We got the Brush of the Fallen Master. Gives a +20 to your craft check for painting, but you at the cost of losing a level.
Holy smokes.
Well, it's a +20 bonus.
Yes, but you lose a whole level. That means you lose out on other things.
Yeah, but you know how much you could sell that incredibly masterwork painting for?
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, you lose a level. Oh, it's evil.
Yeah. I couldn't afford to lose a level right now.
True. We got the Carnivorous Tome, which is a spell book which traps the reader within its pages. We got the Fiendish Elixir. It's corrupted celestial and angel blood that boosts fortitude saves, natural armor, and gives more strength. Basically, it's like the black potion that the Witcher drinks, where he gets all like big and buff. Then we got the Staff of Nightmares. Allows you to cast fear type spells. Next article is the Demonomicon of Igawil. It's the D&D version of the Necronomicon. It grants a bonus to charisma checks, to planar binding and summoning spells. You get some new spells to control and dominate summon demons. Next article is the Silicon Sorcery. This is where they look at a video game that's popular or new and decide to give us some stats for monsters, magical items, and such in the game. This one, they're covering the Shadows of the Colossus video game, and we get the stats for a Primeval Colossus. It's a 300-foot tall construct of flesh, blood, elements, and minerals animated by force beyond natural minds. So basically, somebody read the Necronomicon, went crazy, and built a giant flesh rock monster that's 300 feet tall. Or somebody read the wrong page in the book.
Yeah. That sounds like something the bard would do.
Something our bard would totally do. The next article is Sage Advice. It's covering feats. So this was their whole write in your questions. Hope that they're covering the topic and they give you an answer before we could just Google it. So the two things that stood out I wrote down were if you have quick draw and a +2 attack bonus, you don't have to. If you have quick draw and you have 2 or more attacks, you don't have to use the same weapon. Because what you can do, and this is a really good combo, is you can use a flail to trip your opponent with your first attack, and then you could drop it as a free action, quick draw, pull out your sword, and now they're prone, and now you're able to just stab them with advantage. The next one was Vow of Poverty doesn't get restricted for the tattooed monk's tattoos, because the tattoos are not an actual piece of property. They are something they get for leveling up. So there's no value in them. So you didn't. The Vow of Poverty was the most broken feat in all of 3.5. Basically, instead of being going and adventuring and getting your gear, it kind of was just you'll take a Vow of Poverty, but you'll basically get a magical bonus to something at every level that you have. And it was it's I am not going to have money, but I still have I still have a magical armor bonus. I still have a magical attack bonus. I still get I get magical pluses to my saves. I don't need to eat or sleep. I don't need to drink. You're getting all these fundamental, basic adventuring magical bonuses that everyone else in the party is spending their money on, but you're getting it for free. And it's not you can basically be well, we're going to strip you naked and take away all your gear like we did with knocking out the rest of the party. You wake up and it's I still have all my bonuses. It was the one and only time in 3.5 that we ever had a table conversation with the players and the DM and said, yeah, we're banning the Vow of Poverty. Because it was just we sat there. It's dude, it's too broken. He would have to give us so much more gold to be able to be on par with you that we cannot. No. Have your cleric go off and do his own thing. No more Vow of Poverty. Just because it unbalanced our game so much. But the idea is you're supposed to split up the rest of the party gold amongst the rest of the party with the Vow of Poverty. Be I won't take anything. That way you all can get better stuff. But it was just our DM was not giving us enough cash.
Yeah.
Next we have the Class Acts section of the magazines, where we go through every, and it feels at times like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of these in the Class Act ones, because it's they went around to everybody we have to give some one-page article to every single base class. Whatever we got for the best of it, we're going to print that this month. So for the barbarian, they got herbal remedies. Basically, if you went out into the woods and you found these plants, you use them as like mini magical items. Well, non-magical magical items. You got the Flesh Shrieker. It's a mushroom that grants a fortitude bonus to diseases. You got Golden Cap, helps with fortitude and helps with fear and compulsion, but can cause confusion. So it's like you can't be like really like scared or controlled by other people because you're just a little bit high. You got Lash Nut. Makes it makes the eater smell toxic. It gives you bad BO. You got the Terado root. This potato keeps you fighting at -5 HP.
Okay.
It's like, dude, did you eat your? It's like the whole like the barbarians like I'm gonna eat the potato and then I'm gonna rage and it's like, oh great, you turned into Popeye. Visma paste. It's gives a bonus to save versus heat damage. So yeah, those are your little herbal remedies. The next article is blasphemous utterances, evil bard music to cause panic, frighten, shaken. So you can basically panic, frighten, and shaken foes with your song.
Okay.
They gave the essential spells for 4th to 6th level clerics. Notes on the key spells to have. Basically, at 4th level, and these were my picks off of their list, I would take Greater Magic Weapon, so you can enchant your own weapon to be able to hit better. I would take Break Enchantment, so you can do like a whole like dispel and power down your opponent's gear. And of course, number 6, 6th level, take Heal. Just bam, here's a bucket of hit points. Next article is Dark Side Druids, how to use sacrifices to cast divine spells. Next one is the Black Fist. Ironically, sounds like it would be for the monks. This is actually for the fighters. It's a fighting guild note. It's not as well written as the Guild Act articles they used to do before this new format switch. It's not even real notes on benefits other than a status symbol cool tunic. It's like you join them and they give you a t-shirt that says you're part of the group. like
here's a participation medal.
It's more of the whole thing like it's Fight Club for frat boys. It's like, oh, you're part of the club, man. Here's your shirt. Go show everybody that you're part of. It's like, And I was in a fraternity. We actually did a lot of good at our school. We were not a frat. We were a fraternity. But yeah, okay. So this is like Planet Fitness instead. It's like I pay my dues. I get to wear the t-shirt, and everybody's like, oh yeah, you're one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I rescind my frat boy jab. I'm sorry.
It depends on what school you go to.
And what organization
Colby, right?
you join. Huh?
You know Colby, right? Colby
Kobe Bates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if any of you were part of that. I do not have good their quad space is their quad space. Don't ever walk through it whatsoever.
Yeah, see, I went to UMPI. There was only like one fraternity and one sorority on the entire campus.
Yeah, no, Colby's
and we had friends, and we were friends with basically just about everybody.
Yeah, that's the fraternity to be part of. the ones that want to build up the school, the ones that want to have school.
Oh yeah, we used to do school dances, help out with all different school functions. We're all over the place.
Yeah. Colby is, if you're not part of their clique, you're not part of Colby. Colby Bates.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry. Ran into a Colby student up here. I was a little surprised. But the attitude was the same.
Yay. All right, where did I leave off? Okay, next one. Pressure point attacks for monks. To use your key to aid allies. So this is actually like if you instead of actually it's a wonderful change to not have a monk article and have it be like, here's a new fighting style, to actually have something cool and interesting where it's like basically you studied how to cause damage by hitting all the pressure points. Now you're using the other side of this acupuncture to actually help out your friends. You can basically do it's like you do, instead of doing an attack, you tap your buddy and you can increase their spell resistance, can remove the stunned, sickened, or fatigue status, and you can neutralize poison. Acupuncture. Next article is for the paladin. It's why do you serve? It gives like 4 like character background types. There's the chosen. To every generation there is one. The whole Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing. You got the from the Badlands. It's like I grew up in the very bad part of the world, and I must do good. You have the heritage. It's like my father, and his father all served this god as paladins. I know it's a cop out of a backstory, but that is basically the backstory of almost every single paladin I've played, because they're all related. I just make up a new generation anytime I need a new member of the family. And then the best story-wise for the DM backstory for why does your paladin serve their god? Because this way you get to design an NPC. They'll show up every once in a while and just motivate the story along a little bit. And that reason for serving is vengeance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a ready-made. You like the NPC. You can lure that there's bait. They've been involved, and it's just like, I'm looking for a man with 6 fingers on his left hand. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to feel the power of my god.
I didn't create a backstory for Neffy. None of Neffy's family members are paladins. She just probably tripped over it when she was a kid and decided she liked it.
Chosen by gravity.
Yeah.
Next article is for the Ranger. It's the Mystic Ranger class variant that gets spells at first level. So basically, it's like our druid that gets to fight with 2 weapons or with a bow. It's a better fighting druid. The sorcerer has we get a variant on the sorcerer called the Poltergeist. So basically, sorcerers manifest their magical capabilities just like randomly. And when they're kids, apparently, like they can cause weird stuff to happen. But when they get older and they come into their power, they start getting control and where they can actually cast spells. Yeah, this is one who never really got full control. You can basically give up 2 0-level spells and be like, I can never cast these 2 spells. And you can get a supernatural ability. It's kind of how those kind of spells would manifest in you.
Okay.
Basically a way to show that they haven't really mastered their magic. Their magic is still just kind of there. Next one is the wizard, talking about dark pacts. Basically perform a ritual with a spell to make a sacrifice to gain evil feats. or abilities. Like you can get a zombie familiar. You can deal damage to. You can do damage to animals, fae, and plants when you cast a spell on them. And oh yeah, insects that can infest your hand to use it as a natural weapon. I don't know why anybody would ever do that, because that is one of my worst nightmares, is having bugs living in my arm. Like spiders, like with a tunnel through my arm one time. Yeah, that's a just ugh. I had that recurring nightmare a few times. Pops up like once every 2 years.
Yikes.
Yeah, I would not recommend it. And yeah, that is the end of my Dragon magazines. Shortly after this one came out, Dragon magazine actually ended. Wizards of the Coast decided they wanted to keep the publishing of all the D&D content in-house. At this point, they were hiring Paizo Publishing, who makes the Pathfinder game, to type everything up. They wanted, instead of being somebody else getting the cut, they just wanted to put the articles up on their website and have a paywall. And so you subscribe to the website and get access to it. Is that time when magazines sales were really dropping? A lot of companies were like, well, let's just do it online. And sadly, Dragon Magazine was one of the magazines that died during that time period of the shift over to the digital age. But luckily, because Paizo Publishing was mad about losing the rights to Dragon, the fact that 4th edition was coming down the pipeline, and the fact that Paizo Publishing had a bunch of people on staff that were originally all D&D writers for Dungeon and Dragon magazines, respectively, and their fans are like, we hate 4th edition. And the people at Paizo were kind of like, hey, you realize with the open game license, we could just re-release 3.5, do some updates to it, and call it a new game system, and we owe Wizards of the Coast like zero cash as long as we keep the OGL in the book. And you have Pathfinder, so it was a very much a thing of like, it was like the end of Wizards of the Coast having control over 3rd edition, which was one of my favorite editions to play of D&D. So I was just kind of like, but I was still playing. I wasn't playing Magic the Gathering at the time. I actually retired from that during my college days. So I was just kind of like, yay, I get to wash my hands of giving money to the Wizards of the Coast, which was something I didn't get to do again until COVID, where I was just like, no, I'm done playing Magic the Gathering. So, yeah. But nah, Pathfinder I felt was a better game. With the Pathfinder 2nd edition, where they're like, let's try to make it a little bit more like 5th edition D&D, I was just like, no, I liked first edition Pathfinder, but it's so hard to play a game that's not currently in print, because of the whole fact of a lot of people are all like, oh, I want to play the newest edition. It is. I'm lucky right now that you guys are willing to play old school Star Wars, because actually, like, there's no current like being published Star Wars game. They're all out of print for the role playing.
I don't mind doing the older versions of games. I don't know what style of Go Fish my son plays. I played Go Fish that my parents played, that their parents played, if they played it. Gin Rummy, all those older style games. There's newfangled stuff, and I'm like, no. I don't know when Skippo came out. I think Skippo.
Oh, no. Skippo. Okay, Skippo, you were raised overseas, weren't you?
I was here for 2 years, and then we moved to Switzerland for 6 years, and then we moved back here. So in the 88 to no, was it 80? Fuck no. It was 86 to 93. We lived in Switzerland.
All right, that explains exactly why Skippo is considered new to you, because Skippo was all the rage while you were overseas. Like, that was what all the old people played. Okay. My grandmother taught me basic math with Skippo. 86, I was 4. So it was a
How
whole
do you
thing of
do
like,
basic math with Skippo?
you count up.
Oh, okay.
It's 1 through 10, 1 through 12, 1 through 12, and you're just like
okay.
all my grandmother played was Skippo. We had 2 piles that counted up, 2 piles that counted down.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just like my grandmother liked to play 2 up, 2 down. My mom would be like, no, we're doing all count up, because she wanted the basic version of it. But it was, you couldn't go to a campground in like the late 80s, early 90s and not see like Skippo being played by everybody. And then when it got to the mid 90s is when like it stopped being popular.
Okay.
And that's when cribbage came back. It's a back and forth. Every couple of generations, you'll get like Skippo will be like, oh, Skippo. It's like, I know how old your grandparents are.
I enjoy playing Skippo. I enjoy playing cribbage. I enjoy playing all the old card games.
But it feels like so many of the new versions, the twist ones, they're just trying to sell you something new when it's like, I've already got this.
It's like Uno. My son doesn't want to play the old card deck Uno. He wants to play the one that shoots out random cards at you. I was like, no. We are playing the typical old-fashioned Uno. We're going to have fun. Ooh, that's nice. So we got this at a, what do you call those things? Flea market?
Uh-huh.
No, not a flea market. But she has, of course, connect the dots that you can use for other things. Hangman.
They're just little dry erase ones, right?
Yeah. Tic-tac-toe. Just something to take to camp and entertain the kids with. We've used this once. Paid $15 because it was somebody's craft they did. So, but it's D&D. I don't mind playing the old versions of it. I'm not a fan of the new stuff. When I first got introduced to D&D is when they were using the cards and the dice at the same time. Yeah, it was 2000s. First of 2000s.
That'd be 2000. That would be first 2000s. Cards and dice at the same time.
Yeah, that's how my high school, the group in the cafeteria played D&D. They had cards and they had the dice. I don't know how exactly they managed it, what the cards exactly looked like, because you didn't have your own set of dice, you weren't allowed to play. You didn't have your own set of cards, you weren't allowed to play. You weren't even allowed to sit at the table to learn. They were our math geniuses. They were our art talent students.
I'm sitting here racking my brain, and it's like there's
Josh just bought a small deck of cards. That's the random card thing. It's random cards of NPCs or something, or a character you could play.
Oh yeah.
Or a potion or something.
I got ones that are like random adventure ideas. The only thing is like you said, early 2000s. It was probably
2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Early 2000s.
So that would have been, if it was newer version, it would have been 3rd edition. There was like, you could buy like the spell cards and the cards that had like the class abilities and stuff like that on it. But it wasn't mandatory. Like it was just like, I've got the 2nd edition version of those. Where it's like you have all your items and your feats and your spells and everything all the stuff that would do stuff, so you didn't have to access the book. Fourth edition in like 2008, like that was like a big gimmick for that one, because fourth edition you didn't have like all your spells and all your feats and all your class abilities. You got to have what was basically an at-will ability. You had like 2 at-will abilities you could use anytime you felt like it. You had 1 ability that was like per encounter, and then you had a 4th ability that was like once per day. And it felt a lot more like WoW, where you're basically, and you might have had ways to get like a couple extra abilities, like an extra at will or an extra daily or an extra per encounter at higher levels. But it felt like, all right, I'm gonna get into, it's my turn. All right, I press 1. Oh, I'm gonna press 4. Oh, I'm gonna press 3, and you waited for stuff to recharge, and it was like, no, it felt very much too on rails with how to play your character, and that's what everybody hated for it. Was just like, it feels like I'm playing World of Warcraft with 4th edition.
It was so the game they had going. Actually, they started it in like because we had free time in homeroom in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually started it about 7th grade. It was in I can't remember the teacher. She was anti-gay. She labeled anyone that was remotely gay, anyone that associated with them was gay. She was anti-gay. I don't know how she maintained being a teacher for so long, but it was in her homeroom that the gaming like that started. Within the team of the 4 classrooms, we could swap around our 7th grade year. We could move around as long as we let our teacher know what was going on, because other students wanted to come in my homeroom, because my homeroom had the ping pong table, and everybody wanted to beat the history teacher at ping pong. He was the champion. He was like the grand champion till my 8th grade year. One of us, I can't remember if it was myself or one of my friends, that beat him finally. It took a couple of years to do it, but it was close to the end of the 8th grade. We beat him. But they had that game going, and we graduated in 2003, and I think they still had that game going, the exact same game, because they would do it at school in the short 15 minutes. So they had really short game times. And then the, what do you call those, study halls.
Yeah.
Then getting the study halls lined up and the lunches lined up, because we had a little bit of a big high school. It took them forever to go one campaign, but they picked up their campaign, if I remember right, from their parents, because their parents were all friends. So their parents started the D&D campaign. The kids picked it up, but they had cards by the time they were in high school, cards and dice by the time they were in high school. So,
okay, that might have been that they were using if they weren't playing 3rd edition, they were playing 2nd edition D&D, they might have been using the Deckmaster game.
that sounds about right.
They
had a deck of cards.
Because that one was a scaled down version of D&D that you could play as like a party game, like Munchkin.
Okay.
And or they could have been using Munchkin cards to just have the stuff and roll dice with it. Like it could have been some hybrid, like made up style.
Us non-players weren't allowed to see. They weren't sharing. If we didn't know, we didn't know. We weren't allowed to know. It's like, okay, but the whole point is to like grow things, spread them out, spread your knowledge out.
There's always gatekeeping in some way or another with nerdy stuff. Nowadays, it's not really like actual gatekeeping where the nerds are like, we want to try to keep out the people that are going to come in here and make fun of us, because everybody's like D&D is on such a, like, gaming is on such a renaissance where everybody games nowadays in some way or another.
It's fun, it's imaginative, and it allows us to go crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, there are some games. It's like there's some levels of gatekeeping still where it's like, you got to be able to buy for games like Magic and the Star Wars CCG that I play. You got to be able to have the cards, and yeah, Magic is so many cards. It's so expensive that I'm happy that I got out of it when I did, because it was just like I would had to keep buying stuff every week. There was a new set that came out, and I'd have to drop about $300 on it to be able to get everything. Nowadays, I'm playing Star Wars. I drop probably I drop $600 every 4 months to buy 6 boxes of the new set. I use 5 of those boxes just to open and do crack packs here on the channel. So I'm sharing that experience with everyone else. And then I've got trades to be able to, I've got bulk extra commons and uncommons to give away to new players locally who are just like, I'm getting into the game. And I'm like, you want some commons and uncommons? Here you go. Yeah, but Magic was just like every week, it's like, here, drop $300. And I'm like, I'm looking to drop like 100, 150 a month in a game. Warhammer 40K, another game that I'm into. The model kits for that range between like $35 for one model to like, well, you can get crazy. You can get like one of their big giant, like 3 foot tall mechs, giant fighting robots. That can be about $3,000 for one of those minis. But on average, for a box of 10, it's like $65 for like one unit. So while prices do end up being a lot of what gatekeeps the communities nowadays, and then you got people that are just like, we're picked on, who basically are like, now we've got the power and we don't want anybody to come in. And it's like, dude, you're treating other people the way you didn't want to be treated, that want to be part of this game. Stop. And there's just we're all here to have a good time and have fun, and we're all paying a lot of cash to be able to do this thing, because even the D&D books nowadays are not cheap. They're like $40 a piece. Like, the price to get in on anything is insane. Okay, there shouldn't be any gatekeeping. There should be the whole thing of like, I'm here to play, you're here to play, let's have fun.
Let's grow the community. Let's make it a thing. I am glad to see. Okay, so Josh maybe doesn't know this. His sister, Robin, is into D&D. Like down in Massachusetts, she's encouraging her kids to get into D&D. There is a high school level D&D game only for high schoolers just starting out in the community center in where my son's school system is. So it's nice to see somebody's encouraging it. And I know one of the teachers who runs it is one of the kids I went to school with. And I'm going,
and one of the other teachers at the school that I teach at, we both we started a games club for the school. We had donations from Wizards of the Coast.
Nice.
Well, actually, it's a subsidiary. It's another thing that, like, the other teacher got a bunch of donations from Wizards of the Coast and Wizard stuff. So you got some D&D books that are coming when they do their next shipment of D&D books out. He got like one of each booster box of each set of the current Magic the Gathering sets that came out. I reached out to Reaper Miniatures. They gave me $200 in store credit, and I just went nuts buying minis on their website. Games Workshop sent me 24 miniatures and paints, and I had Chessex, my favorite dice company. If I ever get sponsored by a dice company, it was going to be Chessex. They actually sent 2 pounds of dice to us as a donation. Both Chessex and Reaper have teacher discounts. So as long as you have the product shipped to the school, you can apply for a teacher discount. all of these programs are just people that are just like, hey, this is our usual high school club donation thing. So if people are interested in starting a high school club, an after school club for playing role-playing games and miniature games, there are ways to get some cool starter packages from a lot of these major companies.
Yeah, we would require actual students to play it beyond. Right here in Lincoln, there's not enough of a base for it. You want to come up and teach and get kids interested? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I have like the whole thing. I just have bring in a bunch of my painted minis, have my display case in the classroom. They're just like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's what you could do if you want to stay after school with me."
Yeah, but
talk with the art teacher and be like,
stop
"You ever
them
painted
from
one of
getting
these?"
drugs.
Well, there's an old saying like Magic the Gathering, teach your kids how to play it, and they'll never have money for drugs.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's the last episode of D&D magazine. I just want to chat D&D.
Well, we still have some D&D related stuff to coming up. We're gonna go through the Star Wars books, and then I've got another indie miniature game I want to talk about called What a Tanker. It's basically you roll your dice, and depending on which dice you roll is what kind of action you can take with it. With your tank, it's like tank versus tank battles. I got the stuff for doing. I got the stuff for doing Germany versus Russia. It's all set in World War II. Huh?
Please tell me you know what pocket tanks are.
Are tanks that fit in your pocket?
Oh, good Lord.
I don't know. But then I've
pocket
also got
tanks was like the first PC game for shooting at each other with tanks. Google it. Seriously.
All right.
And they finally made a mobile version of pocket tanks.
But we also got the copious collection of how to be a better D&D player books here. I've got the Ultimate RPG Gameplay Guide, the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide. I got the Proactive Roleplay.
No, I've been distracted lately during role-playing Wednesdays because I'm going, where's my son? And yeah.
I got the second book of the Monster of the Week role-playing game to talk about. I got a collection of short stories from Appendix N. The way that DMs back in the old school days got their whole, hey, if you want to play D&D, read these books and it'll give you some inspiration for your games. Got Playing at the World, which is a comprehensive history of Dungeons and Dragons. I got everything I learned, everything I needed to know, I learned from playing RPGs. Dungeons and Dragons and Philosophy.
Josh got that downstairs.
Huh?
Josh has that one downstairs.
It's a really good one.
Oh, wait, no. It's the red magazines he has. Because they're thin. A little bit bigger, but they're thin compared to that book.
What, the philosophy one?
Okay, maybe he has the magazine version of the philosophy.
Oh.
Because the cover matches.
Possibly. But yeah, so there's some stuff that is not in the old like intro video when this video started with these stacks and stacks of RPG books. Still up to come. I think we got episodes probably going to last us through until November, possibly December. I'd have to check the calendar at some point, but basically my hope is to finish with retro reviews by the end of December. We're going to call it done and come up with a new show and hopefully get Josh involved in it, maybe a couple other people I know, and Yeah, do like a podcast type of thing. So don't know yet. Still working on ideas, but that is all I have for tonight. Anything for you to chime in with?
Nope, I chimed in with everything I want to discuss.
All right. Bye, everybody. Peace.
Peace.
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.